monster inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me's a road ahead of full prophecy. To be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the sword. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more, feed him from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the table team. Hope everybody's doing well. Lily, how we doing?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Good man, good man. You look tired.
I know.
Yeah, you look really tired. You look dark and all. Are you gonna put a light on in your bedroom, or is that your new look?
I'll get that on now.
Good man, good man. Kieran will be with us shortly, everybody. That's better, Lee. We can see you now. That's much better. There you are, Lee. Kieran will be along shortly. He's just running late. You know what Kieran's like. You know, we have to make exceptions for old man, don't we? Getting up, they're making bones. Getting out of bed, putting his slippers on, having a knob biscuit with his cup of tea. Then he'll come on. Bless him. Anyway, can I just start by saying a bit of sad news? What broke today? Gordon McQueen, who was once Britain's most expensive footballer, dies. Reason why that's important to us is he obviously started his career at St Mirren, joined Leeds United in 1972, won the league in 1972, then went to Manchester United and become a real superstar for them. He won FA Cup in, I think it was 80 somewhat. In 85, he signed in 1978. He won the FA Cup in 1983 before running up his boots in 1985. But yeah, he was Britain's most expensive footballer. Just let Kieran's about. I'm just going to give him time to get settled. Let's just quickly go through these messages. Avinda, I hope you're doing well, our friend. Sports for Avinda on Busley. Coming back from town, he caught me. He did. Good evening, guys. Stu, Leanne, Harmony. I am fine and well. Here's Kieran. Look, there he is. There's Kieran. How are we doing, Kieran? Are you all right?
Morning, Sam. Morning, Lee.
Morning.
I tell you what, mate. I woke up and went, oh my God, winter's just here. It's bloody freezing. Must be down to about 4 degrees. And look, it's going to be a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's stunning, but it was a chilly night. So, yeah, sun's just coming up behind me. So, yeah, just give you a weather report there. Never mind that football bollock. Right?
Well, it's beautiful in UK, Kieran. Absolutely gorgeous. It's cooled down a bit, but it's still nice. I've still got my shorts on. Still got the shorts on.
Lovely. Yeah, I've seen that the weather's been good there, isn't it?
It's supposed to change over. I think it's Sunday. It's Sunday or Monday. We have rain again, so best to enjoy it while it's here, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. He saw me up. But do you know Avinda? It's a bit of a dark horse, Kieran. He's representing England for Mencap.
From where?
Football. Yeah, he's representing England in football for Mencap. You've heard of charity Mencap.
Oh yeah, Mencap. I got you now.
Yeah. So he's representing England. Is
good for you, Avinda. Well done, sir. Well done.
This is the first time we've had a proper talk. Well, since you won Europa League, since you won Europa Conference. I think this is
since we became European champions. So yes. Yeah, I know. You went quiet after that, didn't you? No, why? I never phoned me up like that. We went.
Well, we were supposed to do a show, but then Titch wasn't available.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way it worked out. But it was just as well, really. It was one of them things, and it took me days for it to sink in. That we'd actually went and won it. You're just waiting for that. In that game, you're just waiting for it to all go wrong, and it was a crap season after all, but it wasn't. That made it a cracking end to a season, didn't it? And we're absolutely delighted, mate. Delighted to just for the fans of today, like this generation, the last couple of generations, I say I had my heyday, you know, my happy days with West Ham being at the FA Cup final in '80, and no one's, you know, experienced that since and picking up a trophy. So it's lovely for even my boy here, Kieran, was just over the moon. You know, he stayed here and watched it with me, and then went to work late after the game, and you know, buzzing. And it was great. It was just great for, like I say, this generation to see their team pick up the trophy. So delighted for them.
I'll tell you something though. What you have done, you've silenced all Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs fans. Dan, none of them have said bad about West Ham in this pre-season. Nobody said it. Nobody dare say bad to you. You know what I mean? You got bragging rights in London, haven't you?
Well, it's up to them whether. To me, you know, let's put it this way: West Ham. You don't go celebrate. You finish fourth. It's great. I didn't see Arsenal fans celebrating. You know, in them last few games when they'd lost the league. You know, when their ground was emptying out early. You know, they were disappointed, not, you know, in celebratory mood, were they? They were all disappointed that they didn't win the league. So finishing in the top four is great, but you can't tell me they were happy with that, because they weren't, because they thought they had a chance to win something, and they didn't. We had a chance to win something and did. We're delighted. Are we happy we finished 14th? No, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter now, because we've got that bit of silverware on the shelf. So it is all about getting something in the end, especially let's put it this way. Why do West Ham will celebrate? That wouldn't have mattered if that had been a Champions League final or that Conference League final. We would have celebrated exactly the same. To us, it's still a trophy. It doesn't matter which one it is. We'll have celebrated exactly the same. Makes no difference. So, you know, we'll be happy, and we're never going to win the league. We're realistic. We're not, you know, we're not got a head in the sky. We're so realistic. We're not going to win the league. So we need to win a trophy. It has to be a cup. It has to be some sort of cup competition. And as you know now, the bigger that the top 6 and 7 get, the harder the FA Cup becomes, and so does the League Cup become, or the Carabao Cup now, as they like to call it. But so that Conference League was perfect for us to, you know, give it a go and try and win it. And I thought we should win it, because I thought we were one of the best teams in it. But because of that season was so poor in the Premier League, then you get doubts. Because, you know, but I thought we were good. I think Aston Villa, and I said this right at the beginning when they finished, I said, mate, put a bet on Villa to win it next year. So they've got every chance, especially with Emery, you know, at the helm with his experience. So, good day, Richard. Hi, Gordon McQueen.
Yeah, Gordon McQueen passed away.
Hey, Rich, that's a big name from my era. Yeah, good boy, good player.
You know, the beauty thing about it now, Kieran, you're in Europe again.
Isn't that the carrot, mate? That was the big carrot, see? You know, to finish 14th in the league and end up in the Europa League, it's really good, isn't it? G'day, Happy H. Yeah, so that was the big carrot. We got there and we're back in Europe again. It's crazy, isn't it? West Ham are back in Europe after being that crap all season. But like I said, yeah, it was, you know, to lose that final meant nothing. You had nothing. Yeah. You know, it was such a difference, wasn't it? To lose that final meant your season was shit. To win it means we're in the Europa League and we've got a trophy. There was so much riding on that 90 minutes, you know. It's amazing, really.
And, you know, the memories that one day is going to give to people like you, it'll last for him forever.
Absolutely. Like I said, me being at the 80 FA Cup final where we won, and then the memories of that whole weekend coming back to East Ham and Barking Road and Upton Park, and then walking down Barking Road to East Ham Town Hall with about 250,000 people, the whole of the East End turned out. That was a memory I've never forgotten that weekend, you know, or that week. Never. And I think people will, looking back at this one like that, they will, you know. No matter where you were, It'd be a great memory to remember that, especially that 90th minute winner. That's a nice way to do it.
Avinda says, what do you think about Manchester City's treble season? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing that it's been done. Do you know what I mean? And it's a good thing that it's been done. But, I think that if you said to Pep Guardiola, what's the most important trophy you've won out of them three? He'll say Champions League, because that's the only trophy they wanted this season. I don't think they would have been too bothered if they'd have lost Premier League but won Champions League. I really don't. I think that's the trophy they wanted. They were desperate to get that Champions League.
If you listen to him in the past, he says what all managers say, and that now the Premier League is, that's where it is. But that's the only one he didn't have, wasn't it? The Champions League, and he knew how badly they cocked it up last year in that semi-final. They should have been in that final. They should have won it, and they really cocked up. And it was never going to happen again. So I do believe this year it was the Champions League. That was a trophy that was more important to him, I think. But like he does, he got 3 of them. Not bad, eh? Not bad for, Haaland just turned up and all of a sudden he's got 3 trophies on the board, plus Golden Boot, plus the record of goal scoring in the Premier League. You go, my God. His season cannot get any better now, Haaland's, can it? It's going downhill from here. He's finished. He's finished, mate. He's reached the top. He's gone. Oh, dear. Not bad, is it?
I do think they'll find it a bit more difficult next season, because in Premier League, I do believe Liverpool are going to come back strong. Chelsea are going to come back strong. Arsenal are going to be there or thereabouts. Man United are going to be there or thereabouts. I don't think he's going to have it all his own way when it comes to World Cups. Definitely not.
No, I think this was a rare season where really he only had one challenger, didn't he? And that was Arsenal, and they fell away. So it's I don't believe that'll be the case next year. I think teams will be stronger. Whether they're strong enough to challenge them is another thing. But you'd think they'd definitely be better. Liverpool, Man United, even Chelsea. You'd expect them to be better next year. So it might not be as easy. No, not that they didn't find it easy for 3/4 of the season, but the last bit they did. Yeah. They coasted, and it's what they do. But I say to challenge them, you can't be a 30 season a year team. You have to be 38 seasons, 38 games. That's what they do. They go on, even when they're behind, they'll go on a 10, 12, 13 game run. And that's what you've got to do to keep up with them. It'd be interesting if they lose Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, because I think they've been a massive part of last season. Really were. So that could change things if they don't replace or whatever way they're going to work it out. But, he usually finds a solution. But I think Bernardo Silva would be my favourite player in the Premier League for years. I mean, he's a great player. It's just so... The stuff he does in a game is missed by most people unless you watch him. He's a brilliant workhorse. What a player. He's just gifted. And Gundogan, I think, had the best season last year he's ever had at Man City. So it'd be interesting to see where they go, but they could end up with Rice, you never know. And whoever.
Speaking about West Ham and Rice, now Lee come down and says that what the internet's like. There's all sorts of stories, but Lee says that there was a story about Declan Rice being Man City offering £70 million for Declan Rice plus Kelvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Now I don't think that'll be a good deal for West Ham. I really don't. I just don't know what. No. I don't think Kelvin Phillips has got it in him.
Look, if I thought Calvin Phillips had no injury record, I think maybe 80 million plus him would be a good deal.
Yeah.
Because that's when he was good, and I liked him. I really did like him when he was playing for England. Alongside Rice at the time, I thought, he's a good player, but his injury record isn't great, is it? And that's what worries me. we've had too many injury-prone players in the past that, just cost us because they're never on the pitch, and it's cost us a lot of money. So that's the only thing for me going against him. Where Declan Rice never misses a game, and that's what the benefit he is to going anywhere. So it's a shame. I mean, it'd be a perfect deal for him to go to Man City if he had a great injury record or no injury record. But he has.
It's a shame for boy because I like Calvin Phillips as well. You know what I mean? But Kieran, I mean, I watched Mama's chat and they were talking. Gonzo were talking about West Ham might be losing both Antonio and Scamacca.
Yeah, there's lots of talk now, isn't there? About all sorts. Antonio's going, Scamacca's going, Ogbola's going, and most of it's all just rumour and hearsay, and nobody knows shit. Yeah. Just something to talk about, isn't it? And then people get all headed up over it. Oh God, what are we going to do? What are we going over a situation that's just rumour? We don't know. We don't know. Antonio, there's every chance he might want to, end of his career, give himself another challenge somewhere. Yeah, it could happen. Scamacca, we know. We didn't think he sort of works under Moyes, so it's hard to see a place for him. But I think it'd be crazy to let him go. But having said that, if Moyes can't change to play with him, then the thing is, why we bought him in the first place, I don't know, because it don't suit Moyes. I just never understood it. But I like him. I think he's going to be a good striker somewhere. And so we could lose both of them, but we'll see. We'll see. And we're probably going to lose other players. So, who knows?
Yeah, well, I think you're going. I think this is going to be a busy season in transfer window for all teams involved. I really do. I think it's going. I think this is going to be a busy season in transfer market we've had up to date. Definitely. Formula Sonny says TDT Bar Miami. Hiya, Formula Sonny. I hope you'll be doing well. Let me know about the next stream to me, Lee and Stu. I'll let you know, Avinda, don't you worry. Danny, hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. I'm happy I'm not saying Lee with the cuddles, Lee. You miss seeing them cuddles off of HH, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to you soon, Stu and Lee, when I am. I will be there for you guys. Thanks, Avinda. That means a lot to us. Big boss man, Dom Revy is assembling a great team up in the sky. Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah. He's got McQueen back in. For sure.
It's an FF. I don't need to repeat that, but I know what that is.
No. It's a term of endearment, Stu.
Yeah. Amani's with Hammers and Cup. Brilliant. It's good to see you as well, Happy Amaret, love. It really is good to see you. And this is another special one here. Amani, love, hope you're doing well.
Harmony.
Everyone say hello. Missed you loads, Happy. We all have. Arinda, you too, Amani. Michael Brown, R.I.P. Michael McQueen. Hope you're doing well, Michael. Hope you're doing well, mate. Sorry, back now, though. Good. I'm glad that you're back, Happy Amaret. I really am glad you're back. We're going to boss the FPL this season, Happy. I don't know if you saw the video I did of Manny with Shield. Shield come today. I'll have to show you it later. FF is back in the Avery.
Sure am. No, I don't know. Can't hear many this morning, but you probably can in the background. I'm taking notes. It's amazing that, Gordon McQueen, when you realise that era, Stu, of, some world-class, great Scottish players that there was in the first division as it was then. And Don Reverie was very good at harnessing a lot of them, believe me. He, when he had Lorimer and McQueen's, and there was quite a few in the league team back then. Giles, isn't it? Gray brothers. Man, some great players around then. They don't have many these days, do they, Scotland? It's a shame.
Yeah, I agree. Michael says, congratulations to Marcelo Bielsa on his debut win as manager of Uruguay over Nicaragua, 4-1 earlier on today.
There
I
you go.
watched the first half, Michael, and God, it was good to see Marcelo Bielsa back in the dugout again. It was really good to see him. He looks good as well, you know. He looks really good. I wonder what he's thinking about Leeds United at the moment. Tomorrow, Stu and Lee. We'll see. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, Avinda, but we'll see. Night, Avinda. I'm happy I'm saying a night to everyone saying hello. Inky, hope you're doing well, our friend. Good morning.
Inky.
Good evening, Inky, and good morning to you guys. I am chasing my trophy glory at FPL. Let's go. Challenger Mane. Yeah, this is the shield, Avinda, with names on it. So at the moment, we've got Richie's name up here, but oh God, where are we? We're there. So that's the plaque I'm keeping here. What me and Lee got engraved for people. So Richie's his first name in shield, which is great to see. Yeah, I did an FPL to stream it today with all fixtures. Thankfully, Russell wasn't available, so it went pretty well. We've played the worst football in years and won a trophy. Arsenal played the best football in years and won it all. Yep. That's why none of them are saying anything about West Ham. None of them are normally end of the season. Normally, West Ham, your Spurs fans, your Arsenal fans, your Chelsea fans are all talking nonsense about West Ham. They aren't saying nothing this time. They're not saying anything this time round the dent. Inky morning, where are you? All right, here you go. Michael's got a question for you, Kieran. Kieran, your thoughts on Moyes staying on as manager? Clearly, the West Ham owners wanted him to stay on, especially winning their first major trophy in 43 years.
Well, you know, Michael, I'd rather change, you know. But I don't want change for the sake of change. I wanted change to have the right manager come in. Thank you, Moyes. I would love to have just said thanks, Moyes, because I was genuinely delighted for him to win that trophy, not just for West Ham, but for him, be his first trophy. And the scenes of him putting that medal around his dad was fantastic. It really was. And he deserves to finish his contract. The fact that I don't want him there doesn't matter. But I do believe he deserves to have that year. I just think it's another year that we won't progress, you know, as a team. I think it'll be tough. But it is what it is. He deserves it. You know how much I wanted Ange Postecoglou. Now, I would have had him in a heartbeat if we could have got Postecoglou in for it. But be honest, I don't trust the West Ham board to bring in another manager that would do any better. So you got to give him credit, man. He got us over the line. But in a competition, I always believed at the beginning we should win it.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought we were probably the best team in it, and we should win it. You know, but when you see us being so poor in the Premier League, then you think, oh my God, we're playing as bad as these teams in the Europe Conference League, because we were. But he got over the line in the end. He got over the line and he got that trophy on the board. So yeah, fair play. I can't moan about him being there next year because he does deserve it. I would just prefer to go in a different direction.
Do you know something, Kieran? Do you know what I'm frightened for Moyes? He ends up doing what Ranieri did. Wins a competition, then 6 months later he gets sacked. That'll just damage.
I'm hoping that's not the case. You know I could, if that happens, it'll prove my point. You know, this is where we're going to head. But I don't want that to happen for him, because I want him to leave with West Ham supporters going, thank you very much, David. Yeah. You know, I really appreciate that, because we should. 43 years, man. You know? So John Lyle was the last time to pick up a trophy. The last manager to pick up a trophy. So, yeah, I don't want him to ruin that legacy he's created now. I want him to leave on great terms, and the West Ham fans have been happy with him. You know, I really do. So I'm hoping it doesn't go that way, you know, because I've looked at our first 6 games there and I went, wow, we got out of the first 4, we're 3 games away And I'm going, well, we could get off to a bad start. You know, we could. It could be a hard start for us, and then the pressure starts mounting, doesn't it? And I hope that's not the case.
Well, that's your fixtures, Kieran. August, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Luton Town away.
Yeah. To me, they're tricky fixtures, you know. Brighton, you know what I mean? We never beat Brighton.
Yeah.
Our first game's always away. Yes, oh no, not always. I'm thinking about Boxing Day. To be away the first game, then have Chelsea, and we don't know what Chelsea we got now, but it's probably going to be a good one this time. This ain't Chelsea. It won't be Chelsea of last season. You know, it could be a tough start. Luton away, you'd hope to think that we could go and do something there, for Christ's sake. But we don't know what we got with Luton yet, do we? So, and then you go into September, and then there's some tough fixtures there, man. And you go, ooh. Yeah, we need to get off to a good start. I remember a couple of seasons, I don't think it was last season, but it might have been the season before when everybody looked at their first 6 games, mate. We didn't think we were going to get a point on the board in the first 6, and we did really well. You know, we done really well. I think that's the season we finished 6th or 7th. But that start was really important, and they were tough games, and we got good points out of them. So I think that's what has to happen here for Moyes. He doesn't need to go under pressure straight away in the first 4 or 5 games in. So let's hope.
I mean, this must be the first time in a long time, Kieran, that they're in a game on New Year's Day.
Isn't it?
13th of June. There's only 2 games in January. Saturday 13th, Tuesday 30th.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We're having sort of like a mini break on it, Stu.
Well, me and Michael were talking about it earlier on this morning, and basically it could either be a winter break, FA Cup group game scheduled, or something.
Yeah, FA Cup will be involved there, I'd say, Stu, as well. Yeah, but they've always been talking about this sort of mini winter break, haven't they? So. Yeah. I mean, if they can squeeze a World Cup in a season, they can squeeze a little mini break in here, can't they? Of a couple of weeks. So,
have you seen December's congestion, Kieran, this year? You've got Crystal Palace at home on the Saturday the 2nd. You've got and then on Tuesday the 5th, you've got Tottenham away. Wednesday the 9th, you've got Fulham away. Saturday the 16th, you've got Wolves at home. Saturday the 23rd, you've got Man United at home. Boxing Day, you've got Arsenal away. Then Saturday 30th, you've got Brighton at home. You've got 7 games in December.
Yeah, well, hence the break in January. That's a lot of games, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've got any. We can't have any Europa League games there as well, have we? Christ's sake. So. The same again, West Ham or anyone in Europe, they're going to be a lot of weeks going to be playing 3 games in that 7-8 day period, aren't they?
Crazy.
So there's going to be a lot of games. Well, that's the idea. That's what they've always wanted to create, isn't it? To have a lot more football on telly so they can earn more money. And this is what's happening. Yeah. Hang on, mate. Just 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll catch up with chat, mate. Hiya, Malcolm. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Rotherham, a man is laughing. Happy I'm next laughing their head off at Inky. A man, he says, I can't wait to come to the New York Stadium again, Inky. North Ashton. We will be lucky to get 10. We will be lucky to get top 10 this season with the progression of all the other cups. But do you know something, Amani? Happy I'm a look. As long as you finish around mid-table and have a good cup run, surely to God, that's what West Ham fans would like, is having a good cup run again. Because for some reason you seem to do really well in cup runs, and I think you're the only team. I mean, I know it's only been 2 seasons as that Nations Conference, but you're the only team to go unbeaten all tournament. You didn't lose one game. You didn't lose one. You're unbeaten in that tournament from start to finish. That's you know, and the amount of games you played is crazy. Kieran, can I ask you about that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, mate.
What's more important to you? A good cup run in the Conference League, in Europa League, or a good Premier League run?
I'd rather have a good cup run, whatever cup it is, Stu. Because the reality tells you that's the only thing we can win. Right?
Yeah.
And if you want to keep that feeling of picking up a trophy, that's where it is. Yeah, I mean, us finishing, it's great. When we finished 6th and 7th, that was great. But the carrot was we got into Europe, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, there weren't no big celebrations about finish 6th or 7th. It's well done. You've had a good season, and that's it. It's all over. But to pick a trophy up, which people know now, there's your enjoyment of football. There's the joy of having to celebrate. You don't celebrate coming 5th, 6th and 7th. You just say, yep, that's well done. But you celebrate when you win a trophy. And reality is, the only time we can win a trophy is but with the domestic cups and now Europa. Yeah, but Europa is a lot tougher than your Conference League. So I'd like to be safe. Now, this season wouldn't have been so bad if we were just hanging around 10th and 12th and not being part of a relegation battle. It would have been, I think, a really good season then. But because we were flirting with relegation for most of the season, it was nervy. It weren't that. It was worrying. So if West Ham were just hanging around 10th this year, 12th, and doing well in one of the cups, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most fans would, if I'm honest. I really do. Michael's got another question for you. Do you think that West Ham's success in the Europa Conference League, that Moyes will be backed financially to recruit more players plus money to come in from Rice?
Yeah, I think he will be, Michael. One of the things that worried me, because I see some of the money that was probably lost last season in some of the transfers. Like Skamaka could have been a big loss we might take if he does go. Cornet seems at this moment like a big loss. He bought Flashish before that, which looks like it's going to be a big loss. Yeah, some of the recruiting has been questionable. Even Ings, to a point, really. I think it was crazy money to pay for a guy for 6 months who didn't really, rip up any trees. And he's another one that don't really suit how we play. So, but he will be backed, I think. Yeah, I think he will be. Whatever the Declan Rice money is, I believe 90 million is the least we'll get from Rice. So I think he'll get money to spend. Yeah, I just hope they do it wisely.
Well, that's where your director of football comes in handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And hopefully Moyes leaves it to director of football this time.
That's the trouble, right? Is Skamaka's not a bad signing, but is he the right signing? I think he's a great player to go and get. I thought it was a good signing. I didn't think it was a good signing for Moyes at the time, but I thought, mate, you're going to do another Haller here. Haller was a good signing, but Moyes didn't want it when he turned up. And you go, wow, we're just bringing these good strikers in and then devaluing them and getting rid of them. And that don't make much business sense to me. And it doesn't help the team. So, whoever we bring in, it has to be right, man. It just has to be right. Took us 18 months to find a striker in Haller, right? Oh, not after Haller, sorry. It took us 18 months to find Skamaka, and that weren't right. So how long is it going to take to find another? If Antonio did go, Mike, where are you going to get these strikers from?
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully, Kieran, they would have had words with Moyes. Hopefully, someone like Sullivan would have said to him, "Look, you need to use these players we bring in and you need to use them in the right way because you can't keep customers money all the time because it's not the way to run a business. Because to Sullivan, it's a business. That's what it is. I know to you fans, you want to see the best players, but to Sullivan, it's a business. And you keep losing 20, 30 million pounds on players. It ain't the right way to go. Definitely not.
No, it's not sustainable, mate, is it? I mean,
No.
you start losing that, you know. If you get 90 million for a Rice, or whatever, 100 million, doesn't matter. But if you, in the previous season, if them players you bought cost you 40, 50, well, takes the gloss off it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know? It's not like Aston Villa brought, sold Grealish 100 million. Lovely. We got 100 million. We've got to calculate what these other players have cost us. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, Kieran. Michael says, Malcolm says, sorry. Seems that at Leeds to qualify for contract, you must have an impressive injury record. Schematic seems distant compared to the rest of the squad at the parade.
I don't know. Maybe a bit. No, maybe. I noticed Lanzini weren't on the bus. I think he was off getting married. He weren't on the parade and the bus. So he off getting married. I happy to be gutted. But there you go.
Inky says, Amani, I had a sneaky peek about 2 years ago and it still looks playable. Amani, Happy Emirates says, Malcolm, at West Ham, you need to be almost drawing the pension. Hiya, Bandy, hope you're doing well. I wonder if we will ever have a modern memory to celebrate like Kieran as a Leeds fan.
Why not?
Why not? It's winning championship. It's
yeah, that should be your first goal, to win it, to win a championship. It's hard to know that. What's more exciting, winning the championship or outright, or getting to the playoff final and winning that? Yeah, I know you don't need the stress of the playoff final, right? But it is probably an exciting day out, isn't it? At Wembley, and you actually get a trophy for it. So, yeah, I think it'd be more relaxing if you just won the league outright, wouldn't it?
Amani says, is your hubby leaving West Ham happy? I'm seeing it, yeah. Amani says, yes, seems that way. Villa been sniffing around his sexy ass. It's been a long time since I've seen shows, and I'm happy to be back. And it's good to have you back. I'm happy, it really is. It will ruin the perfect image of Zena in any other kit, not allowed.
It is claret and blue, though, if he goes to Villa.
Yeah, same colour. Giles was Irish. I liked Willie Bell and Jim Story, but most of all the numbers won Bobby Collins.
Right. Oh, yeah, Johnny Giles was Irish. He's right. I was thinking about the Gray brothers, wasn't I? That's what I was thinking about.
Man, it's only 3 more weeks and we can start building our team, so I can't wait. Yeah, 3 more weeks.
Mate, wait. You want to get Leeds building your team right now, then why 3 weeks? Then why that fantasy league? You got to get Leeds building now, mate. That's what you should be more worried about.
Well, apparently we're having interviews. Is it next week? And then we're gonna name a manager shortly after that. So we'll have to wait and see. But do you know though, the 49ers, Kieran, not saying anything. They aren't telling us an awful lot. They're not telling. I think it's just journalists making up stuff as they go along. To be honest.
Well. Oh.
Yeah, man. Happy Emirates got a good point. We were more successful this season than Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. It feels good that. Yeah, I bet it does.
When it comes to trophy success, we were. Simple as that.
Michael says, "Watch Rodrigo play for Spain this evening in the UEFA Conference League semi-final. Win over Italy. He was taken off at half time. Lonzo was on the bench for Italy but didn't come on. Kieran, are West Ham going to be punished for their throwing incident in the Europa League final?
Oh yeah, I'd say so. Oh wow, no. I'd like to think it's just a fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was outrageous. I was screaming at the telly at the time, even when just the plastic cups were coming down. Look, they're not hurting no one. But there was a few coins, I think, thrown and a vape, and I think it's that vape that hit him that cut him. I was screaming at them, stop it, you idiots. Do you realise how ridiculously you look now? You know what I mean? You've got brilliant fans there. You've got about over 20,000 West Ham fans there. You're going to spoil it. And bang, a minute later, they're patching his head up and fucking idiots. Yeah, I was disappointed with that. But yeah, they will be punished, and quite rightly so. Not that West Ham could do anything about that. It's just there's a few idiots started. Plastic cups are never doing it. I saw all their fans throwing plastic cups when they scored. This they ain't hurting no one. But still, you shouldn't be throwing them. Right? I'm not saying you should be, but they're not the issue. But you get idiots throwing. Yeah, come on, it's ridiculous.
I'm happy with it. It's the spot on, Kieran. We were crap at getting the right players in for Moyes' style of play. This new director of football will be the key. I think so as well. Happy with it. I'd be happy if Moyes walks away now and goes to Celtic, etc. Also happy for him to see out his year contract though. Needs a younger manager next season though, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the hardest thing, isn't it, getting the manager right? It is. It sounds simple, but it's not, because look at Man United. They've been wandering around from manager to manager for the last 10 years, really. If you look how badly Tottenham got it wrong last year, how bad Chelsea got it wrong. It's the hardest thing to get right. But when you looked at the likes of teams that are on par with us, like Brighton's and Brentford, and Villa, when you see them getting it right, you mean, well, why can't you? Why can't we? Why can't Leeds? Why can't West Ham? Why can't Everton? I think Everton, they end up with Dyche. I don't believe they really want Dyche.
No.
I don't. I can see that changing, if they don't start well. But it's the hardest thing to get right. And even then, most teams that manager, even when he does well, it's 2 or 3 years. Apart from your elite managers, what's most managers get changed after 2 to 3 years anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a short time that they can be successful. Unless you're one of these clubs that really sticks with them. But you can only stick with them when they're doing the job. And I just think, like I say, Postecoglou was my pick, and like I say, this isn't because of what he's done at Celtic. This was before Celtic. I wanted that boy because of his style of play and what he gets out of the team. And every competition he's taken over as manager, he's won. He's basically won everywhere he's been. So that's the kind of guy I like, and I like his style of football. It's simple as that. Like he liked Bielsa's style of football. I like Postecoglou's style of football, but I'm gutted he's going to Tottenham. Of all places, anywhere else I wouldn't have minded so much, but Tottenham, no. But there you go. We'll see. He might struggle there. We might get him anyway. Who knows?
You clutching at any straw what's available, Kieran, mate. You love the man.
Yeah.
I remember you speaking highly about him beginning of last season when you were talking about him. And this was last season when he just started when he just signed up with Celtic. You said he'd do well there.
Yeah, I knew he would, and I knew the Celtic fans would like it, and they did. They loved it, the style of football and everything else. 5 trophies out of 6, and you can say, "Oh, it's just the Scottish League. Oh, he won the league in Japan." No, it's just can't keep saying this when a manager goes to a club and wins that league that he's in. He won it here in Brisbane. He took Australia to the World Cup finals twice. He also won the equivalent of the European competition that Italy just won. He done that in Asia. He won that with Australia in Asia. The equivalent of that European tournament, he won. Australia have never done that before. He took over and he done it. Honestly. And what people will say, if he doesn't succeed at Tottenham, they'll say, oh, look, he couldn't make it at the top. I'm telling you now, I'd still grab him straight. If it went wonky at Tottenham, I'd grab him straight away.
Yeah.
Because I think Tottenham might not be a good move for him.
Well, I wouldn't want to work for Daniel Levy, I tell you. Oh, no, thank you. The changes to the Champions League this season involves an extra 60 matches. Mental, really. It is, but it's all about money, Amani. Happy Amaret, love. It's all about money.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Amani says that City almost won the Champions League unbeaten as well. They did. Sorry, but yeah, that is a good point. They did win unbeaten like West Ham did.
Yeah, I know. Two great teams, eh?
Yeah. Well, it's a trophy. It's European trophy, isn't it? It's still Europe. We have very little chance of getting European spots this season, though, through league positions. So yeah, a decent cup run and hopefully another bit of silverware to add to our little collection. It's getting.
Do you? Sorry, Stu.
No, go on, Kieran.
Just saying that, win another trophy. Do you know, in I think all our major finals in the last 50 years, every time we've won a trophy, we followed it up next season being in the final again. In 64-65 we did the FA Cup. What was it? In 1980, in 70, I think when we won it in 75, the FA Cup, we ended up in the League Cup final the next year. When we won it in 80 against Arsenal, the next year I went to Wembley again to watch us play Liverpool in the League Cup final. Every time we win a trophy, we follow it up with another final the next season. So we want history to repeat. We lost them all, Stu. Right? We lost them all, but that's not the point. We followed it up with another final. So I'm hoping, history might repeat. Listen.
Eamon says, it's why we're bringing the director of football. We ain't no Man City, Chelsea or Newcastle, etc. We can't keep on throwing money down the drain.
No.
Zinni's already married to a man.
Oh, right.
Was celebrating as they married in lockdown behind closed doors.
Oh, that was what it was, I just see a photo of him. Looked like he's walking down an aisle. It must be renewing their vows or whatever. But I went, oh, look, that's why he weren't on the bus. He went off to get married. I just put two and two together. Anyway, let's put it this way. He's with her and not you, H. Right? So you've lost out, mate.
Hi, Happy Emirates. Hope all is well at your end. Want me to report you to Big Mally, Happy? For bigamy. I thought you went to Big Mally. I'm going to say. Why would we report Happy Emirates to Big Mally for? All okay, thanks, Eamon. Hope you are good too. Bandy says, we have never won it. We have never won a playoff. We have to win the division.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're a killer, aren't they, them playoffs? They're horrible.
Yeah, we choked against, I think it was Derby, wasn't it? Under Bielsa's first year at least.
Yeah.
Amani, yeah, go for it. I'm good, thanks, Happy Amaret. And just seeing your Liverpool. For us, Arsenal, right, for all Arsenal came on board. West Ham have now won more European trophies than.
Right, yeah. Well, we've only won two. Is that what Arsenal won? One?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, that's surprising.
A man is happy on it's loving. It's great, isn't it? And we have been shy all season and still walk away with a trophy.
Yeah, It's quite surreal, really.
Yeah, Amani says that we got punished for the Brighton game. Still got to be done for Palace and Newcastle yet. Yeah, moronic fans, exactly, Amani. We got done twice in a week. Do you know what I mean? So, just idiots. So the fans it's a tiny minority of fans who spoil it for the majority.
Yeah, it is. It's just stupidity, man. Just stupid. All get carried away, don't they? And did you have the geezer that run on the pitch, didn't you?
Yeah, well, at first everyone thought he was a neutral fan. But he was a Leeds fan. We got punished for that. We got punished for Brighton. And like Amani says, we've been punished for the Crystal Palace as well.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's just stupidity. Stupidity. Not much more you can say about it.
Not really.
No, look. It don't matter if you've got a 60,000 stadium or 20,000 stadium, mate. There's got to be a 1% of idiots in every stadium, at least. Right? So you'll never change that. There are idiots everywhere you are. Every walk of life, there's an idiot. So who thinks he's smart? Not quite. I'll tell you what, if anyone was throwing them cups behind me and beer was hitting me, I'd be straight at them. Yeah, they're the ones I'd be throwing them on the pitch. So
go on, Kieran. But I mean, I said this. I can't remember what stream I said it on, but I can understand why we don't allow drinks in stadiums. You know, in the actual the stands.
Yeah,
I can understand why we don't allow our fans to do it.
Well, this is it. I think it's great when you see European games. Everyone's, all them qualifiers West Ham played up to that. All the boys are sitting in the stand having a beer, enjoying themselves. The 90% majority, and probably more. Enjoy, and I think it's great. You can do that. That you can actually sit and have a beer, and you can hear in Australia. We know why it was banned in England. But when you see scenes like that at West Ham's game, then you're never going to get that in England if you keep doing shit like that. That you're sitting there, you're allowed to have a beer, allowed to watch the game, no dramas, and then you get one idiot who throws something. Oh well, it's the beer then. Blame it on all the beer and the plastic cups. You put it in the context in Europe though. I mean, these fuckers are firing flares onto the pitch.
Yeah.
It just all through the season. That's more dangerous than any plastic cup, but nothing's not said, is it? It's okay.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Eamon Green says, Cup Winners' Cup, European Conference League, and Intertoto Cup are all recognised by UEFA as legit European competition. Oh,
yeah, because we won that Intertoto. Everyone's sort of a bit of a joke competition. You're right, mate. We won that, didn't we? And, that class is a European trophy. That's free then. Sweet. Yeah, gotcha.
Arsenal have won the first cup and the Cup Winners' Cup.
Right, so we're 3-2 then if we count the Intertoto. It's amazing how West Ham fans don't count it. Right. But there you go. But as well as we're not, these clubs list their trophies, what they won, and they keep throwing that charity shield in there. I shake my head and go, how can you list that as a trophy one, the charity shield? Come on. Whatever they call it, the community shield now, whatever you want to call it. It used to be the charity shield. Man, you can't list that as a trophy, a one-off game. And it's a kickabout, just a precursor to the start of the season. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's a preview. Yeah, that's what it is. And when it was charity shield, it would a way to make it would a way to raise funds for charity.
That's all. So, that's all it was for. You class that as a trophy now. Jesus Christ.
I'm happy. I'm surprised that they ever won anything. Total bottle jobs. I still regard Anglo-Scottish Cup as a European trophy. The Anglo-Scottish Cup as a European trophy. That was in England and Scotland, wasn't it?
That used to be great, didn't it? The England-Scotland games.
Yeah.
Back in the day, in the 70s. Oh, it used to be great. Everyone used to look forward to that. And until they took the 2 goals down at Wembley and walked away with it and half the pitch. I still know a couple of Scottish guys have got pieces of that Wembley turf back up in Scotland.
Wow.
They dug it up and took it home with them, yeah.
Crikey, man, Anglo-Scottish Cup. Malcolm, I loved it. Michael Brown, Tottenham and Chelsea both have a high turnover of managers. They don't last long at those type of clubs. Their clubs, no, they don't. Because they want success, Michael. Tottenham are desperate to win silverware, and Chelsea think that they've got every God-given right to win a league, a trophy every season, and it don't work like that. Got to earn it. Eamon Green, we also won the War Cup. Yeah, I saw it. Do you know when someone mentioned about the War Cup? I didn't know what it was, but I saw a picture of it, and God, that was a beautiful trophy, that War Cup trophy. It was a really nice trophy. Though that was a substitute for the FA Cup.
Oh, right.
Cheers for that, SF. We don't want history to repeat, see. When we lose one, we lose another and another, and yeah, I know what you're trying to say. Wally World saying good evening.
Hello, Wally.
Good evening, brother Wally. Hope you're doing well. Forgot about that. Right. If you looked at Man City's celebration for the Premier League and the Champions League, their backroom staff for analysts, coaches, fitness trainers amounted to nearly 50 personnel.
Yeah, that's what it takes these days, isn't it? If you want to be at the top of Champions League, that's what it takes.
Wally's just asking if we got in trouble for that cup throwing incident. And Happy Amaret says that supposed to be both clubs are being charged. So it's not just West Ham, it's also Florentina. Happy. That was embarrassing from our fans. But it wasn't all the fans for it, Happy. Do you know what I mean? It's just a tiny minority of them. And, you know, agreed, I was embarrassed watching it. Morning, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Paul. I disagree. Football and alcohol don't mix. Should be banned. If they can't go a few hours without a drink, they need to go out Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. A good point. I have been in 5 I've been in 5 baseball grounds in America, but can't remember beer in them. But wasn't really looking, so maybe. Man, I love a beer while watching a beautiful game. I also feel no need to throw stuff like it. Yep, spot on. They definitely sell beer at baseball, Malcolm. They have to. It's so boring.
Yeah. Mate, you'd need a beer to watch that game, wouldn't you? You'd need a beer, mate. I'm trying to watch that, find out why some Americans are so obsessed with that game. And I just don't understand what's going on. I never see a home run. I just see nothing. And God, I just don't know where the excitement is. But, you know, everyone to their own, I suppose.
It's boys rounders, that's all it's. Lee likes watching cricket, believe it or not. Now that is a boring game. That is like watching paint dry. Anglo-Saxon Cup was a club competition. Wally. I went away to St Mirren, Patrick Alola, etc. Great times. I would love to see a proper Anglo-Scottish Cup instead of the League Cup. Mark, I'll put that question to him for you, Michael. Frankie, hope you're doing well, mate. Are we winning the championship next season? Fact, Nighthall. Are we? What, we are winning it. I wouldn't like to say it, Frankie, until I know what team's going to be. Inky says that they should bring it back. Malcolm says, get noted, see, great. Come on, the Tigers, huh? That must be.
Is that right? Is it? Who's the Tigers? Are they baseball?
Must be. I mean, only baseball player I've heard of is that Babe Ruth or whatever it's called. He's the only
Yeah.
baseball player I've heard of.
Yeah, Mike was there. Yeah, Michael, we did win. We didn't won this into Toto, but you know, as fans, we never really just thought it was a really silly sort of competition at the time. We never really counted it. Still, you know, West Ham fans don't really until now. Now that it's we've got more trophies in Europe than Arsenal, we're going to count it now.
You do know if Spurs had won that trophy, God, they would have been talking about it till this very day.
Yeah.
You know what? Spurs are desperate to win any sort of trophy league. You know what I mean? And they just can't. No matter what manager they have in, they can't win a trophy.
No.
This is it. You see, there's only what is it? FA Cup, League Cup, and then there's the Premier League, and now there's the there's 6 trophies the season. So there's 20 teams in the league. Not all them teams can win them trophies. Detroit Tigers. I'm from Detroit, so that's my team. Still boring though.
Yeah, I say you must be. I don't know how you get into it. Maybe you just need. I mean, when the NFL came to Britain in early 80s, you know, Channel 4 used to show it, but they made it for the British audience. They done the highlights show, and they explained what was going on, you know. And I started watching that NFL then, and it was really good. I really got into it. I thought it is a good game. It's like a game of chess. But the commentators were for the British audience, explaining to you what's happening and what they're doing and how it all works, which helps. And I really enjoyed NFL at the time. I thought it was a really good game. But it is a game of chess. But the time it takes to watch a full game would be a bit testing, because it's forever stopping. But it is an intricate game.
You see, I've tried watching NFL, especially Super Bowl, but I just can't get into it. I don't know why. I can't get into rugby union, no, neither. I like rugby league, but I'm not a big fan of rugby union. Whereas with rugby league, it's 6 tackles and your turnover. You know what's happening. Whereas in rugby union, you can have about 30 different tackles and you still can keep ball.
Yeah, I like rugby union at international level. I love watching the internationals. I think they're good. And that's it, really.
Wally, maybe run down, but I love Detroit mainly for the Motown Tigers. It's great, Motown Tigers. I know Motown Sinners, but I didn't know they were a Motown Tigers. Ups Tigers ground is great. Thumbs up to Malcolm.
Yeah,
so, Kieran, are you expecting a lot of players to leave the club now then at West Ham?
Well,
we are at Leeds. We're expecting a massive
you must be, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know, mate. Let's put it this way: if the likes, you should be upgrading the likes of Cresswell and Ogbonna, but I can still see them being there for another season. You know?
Yeah.
I want Areola and Fabianski to stay. I presume Areola will take over the number 1 spot, but I still want Fabianski. You know, I don't want him to go, because whether he be first pick or second, he's still a really good keeper for me. You know?
Yeah, I like Fabianski.
So Ogbonna and Cresswell, we don't know his corner, whether it's going to be some revelation, where, you know, because of all the injuries he had last year. But he's been at this moment a flop. Whether we can turn him around to be a player again, because we did see, you know, before he came to West Ham, that boy's got some talent there. We know he has, but we haven't seen it. So that would be interesting to see if he can turn that boy around, because that would be like a new signing if he can. Vlasic, you've had that loan. I'm going to guess that we'll let him go somewhere. That was a flop. But maybe we could get him back and be part of it. Maybe we could upgrade that Mubama from the youngsters. Maybe start giving him a little bit of game time here and there. Lanzini as well. I'd imagine he'll be out the door. So there will be, yeah, I'd say we're going to lose a few. There'll be a few going. And you got Rice probably leaving as well. So, yeah, there will be a few. There'll be a bit of a turnover. We don't know with Scamacca, whether he's staying or going. We don't know with Antonio, whether he's staying or going. So, yeah, there's a lot of negotiations to be done.
Piquetta will be there, won't he?
Yeah, yeah, he ain't going nowhere, mate. That's one of the diamonds we have picked, you know, even though he had a rocky start as well. But he's settling in nicely. He's getting better and better and getting used to the pace of the Premier League. I think that was his hardest thing. But, yeah, Paqueta is the one player that you'd say he's definitely holding his money, if not more. So he's going nowhere.
Do you know which player worries me for West Ham? And it's his injuries, Zuma.
What was that, Stu?
Zuma worries me with his injury record.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. But then again, he had that injury record before he came to West Ham. This is what you do, isn't it? You buy players who have got a history of injury and you buy them. Well, you're taking a chance, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're taking a chance. Because I always wondered, I never trust buying a player from Chelsea or Arsenal or Tottenham. Because I always go, what? Why are you letting him go to us? You know, because we got him fairly reasonable, Zuma, and I always thought he was a quality centre half.
Yeah.
But I didn't, you don't realise till you look into him, the history of his injuries and you see that. He looks bloody injured every time he gets on the pitch, but he does still do a job.
Yeah.
But it is what it is now. That's why I think Ogbonna probably needs to stay for another season to have cover. You know? Yeah. Again, it's another one. I've never known a player for this season, and like I say, it's his first season, so I always give him the first season. But he's been 9 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. He seems to have games like that. But when he's good, mate, he looks like an absolute quality centre-half. But when he's been bad, shit, I just hope he's got more consistency next year, and then we'll have a good partnership then, him and Zuma. Right, I think again, just got to raise his game in consistency.
Yeah. It's frustrating. He's a Aguerd because he's got it in him to have a good game.
Yeah,
he's got it in him. He did it in World Cup. He has done it for West Ham, but it's like you said, some games it's like 3 or 4 out of 10 instead of being 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
it depends on what Zuma you're gonna what Aguerd you're gonna get. But I think next season you'll see a better Aguerd. I think he'll be more accustomed to Premier League next season.
I think so. I think that's it. And even Tilo Kehrer, you see that last couple of months, he went through a real rocky patch. And then that last couple of months, he was looking the player that we bought, you know. He's starting to look like he could be a defensive midfielder, like a right back or a centre-half. He looks like he could fill in on all three. And I always thought that when we got him at the beginning, I always thought, man, he could be a defensive midfielder. Or he could be our future right back because, he's got agility. He's got a bit of pace. And then they did play him right back and he had one good game, then about 4 bad ones. And he went, oh, my God, maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. But in the end, the back end of that season, when he filled in at right back, he did look a player. I think it's him as well, like Paqueta and like Aguerd. They're just getting used to the Premier League. And I think hopefully all 3 of them will be important to West Ham next season.
I agree. Amani gets everywhere. I used to sleep in a boardroom of cheerleaders near the
Trocadero.
Yeah. They were people who brought NFL to Channel 4. I knew the owner, Ian Bruce.
Oh, right. Did you? I used to sleep in the boardroom of cheerleaders. The Trocadero in the West End she talking about.
We'll find out. She'll tell us. Beer, popcorn, hot dogs, drunk, and eating in the stands. American buy and eat food around 8 times during a baseball match. That's what I'm worried about with Leeds United's been taken over. I'm just frightened that we changed. Wally World says no cheerleaders at baseball. One of the many reasons it's so boring. Coming again soon. Wally been twice. That's right, Stu. More time music. It's life along with Leeds. Yep, I sad now. Yeah, I'm a sad person and all, Malcolm. I was listening to some music from early 80s last night. I was doing my wife's heading. Eamon and butt scratchers. I was shocked, Wally. Just got there for the last game of the season. Only charged me $7. Lovely lady.
Wow.
That's a great deal, Malcolm. Australian rules football has to be the worst game for me.
Well, that's another one. You need to know what's going on, Eamon. That's the thing with that. I must say, it was. I went. I watched a bit of it here, and I weren't totally enamoured with the game. But I went to a game here at Brisbane. Brisbane played Geelong, I think. And being at the game and watching it, I quite enjoyed it. When they play on a massive oval, and when you watch them, my God, they do some running in that game. And these lads are huge. They're massive. It's a tough old game. But yeah, it's one of them things, mate. You've got to be. I think most people who love it are born into it, and it is a big game here in Australia. More so in Victoria than the south. It's only in the recent 20 years that it's become more popular up here in Queensland. Rugby league is the big game here, but it has become more popular here. But it's one of them games. If you know what's going on, some of the rules baffle me. You know what's a tackle, what's not a tackle. But it can be an exciting game.
Speaking about Australia and England, Ashes start tomorrow, Kieran, in cricket.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to check whether I've got it here. It'll be on the bloody middle of the night anyway. The Ashes. But yeah, I'd like to see whether England got a competitive side this time or not. I hate it here, mate, when Australia win the Ashes, mate. You just do not hear the end of it here, mate. They don't stop. The nightmare. So, because the last time I went, I sent that little video to Titch. I was at the Ashes here in Brisbane. My God, we played well that day, but the rest of the series we got tanked. So, lucky enough, I went there for the whole day. That was good.
Yeah. Because that's a big game in Australia, isn't it, cricket?
Is it what, mate?
That's a massive game in Australia.
Yeah.
Cricket.
It is, yeah. It is a big game here, mate. Their three biggest sports are rugby league here, cricket, Australian rules, and probably then rugby union. And after that, it's football, you know? So that's where the football is here in the pecking order. It's hard to compete with them. Cricket's big, but like I say, it's big, and especially at international level. I wouldn't say what the state level is that big as bringing numbers through the doors. But when it comes to international here, it's massive. You know, people do love their cricket here. It's played all over. You can almost play in cricket nearly all year round in certain parts of the country here. You can play cricket all year round, you know. So.
Malcolm says, I spent a lot of time getting coffee out of the hotel full of homeless. Well, bless them. Spent a lot of time getting my coffees out for the homeless people in hotel for homeless. Yes, Kieran, huge sheet cabinets and lots of coke. Wink, wink. He then let me use his flat in Gloucestershire Road. He was from Stroud in Gloucestershire. Lovely bloke.
Really nice. Fucking hell, Harmony, you get about, babe. Yeah, the Trocadero. Yeah, I remember. I'm just thinking about Trocadero. It's right near Leicester Square, I think. Yeah, I've been in there, Trocadero. Yeah, Leicester Square, I think, near the Hippodrome, Harmony. Yeah, I think it's close to the Hippodrome, if I remember it.
I haven't lived to be compared to people like Amani, you know. I haven't lived. I haven't, honest to God.
Oh, mate, I think she could write a fucking book. I'd be really interested in her stories.
Yeah, from a music days to meeting people and stuff.
Yeah.
Good man, Malcolm. I haven't been back in Detroit since 1990, but I've heard it's gone downhill since then.
Of course it has.
Used to love watching Australian rules, great games, Inky saying. These countries like Australia and America that call a sport football, when 99% of the time they don't actually kick the ball, it should be banned from using the word football out loud.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that they still miss your cheesesteaks since you left. They have got investment in Wally and building back up. Seen some improvement in the area when I was there. Well, that's good. I mean, I always remember seeing Detroit, and it was car industry, music industry. It was a place to be, wasn't it? Back in '60s, I guess, and '70s.
Yeah. Until the car industry collapsed, I think. That's what's happened there, isn't it?
Under the Moon was a show on Channel 4 that showed American sports like baseball. Good to hear, Malcolm. I'm glad it's on the rebound there. Hermione knows no cheesesteaks in Detroit, just square pieces. It was punk era, Karen, where we were known.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
That brought a smile to Kieran's face, did the punk era. You know, my dad, right? You know, he always used to talk to me about Northern Soul, right?
Yeah.
And I never knew because it was, because it was back in the day, and I was born in 1980. It was like talking double Dutch to me. But on YouTube channels, there's a channel called Northern Soul, and it's the old music and the dancing and everything. And I find it right interesting. I find it really, really interesting. You know, you could just move your body to any which way you wanted to. There were no special dance routine, and you could just be free.
No, there weren't, but it was quite distinctive when you watched them, and it was a real popular thing, Northern Soul, at the time. Yeah, it happened around probably before the punk era, and then the punk. So I weren't really interested, but I did like soul music. You know, I was a big fan of soul music, but the Northern Soul was a big thing. It was a big thing up north, and still is. It's still hanging on up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
We still have a
lot of what you call them, where tribute acts and stuff. They have a lot of tribute bands with Northern Soul and stuff. War Museum is awesome where you live now, Wally. I'm in Philly now, Malcolm, but remember going to the Ford Museum when I was a kid. Henry Ford, wasn't it? That was his name, Henry Ford.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Some bad stories about that boy. If I remember rightly.
I only know his name. I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
Were he a bit of a character then, Kieran?
Oh, I think he was. Not in a good way. Let's put it that way. From what I heard at the time, read about him. So, but they like to keep that quiet about him because, you know, he did produce the Model T, didn't he? Basically one of the first cars that was affordable for a lot of Americans. And so, he's got a big name in history. But him as a personal thing, it was some controversy about him.
Malcolm says it's American soul, Stu. I hate it when people say Northern Soul for Motown. Plus, it's first heard down south.
Well,
I always thought it was Northern Soul, Malcolm.
The soul did. The actual music, most of it did come from America. It's just that they took it on up in these northern clubs, you know, as a thing. is a big thing. So, mate, there were soul things in London as well, no doubt about that. But they took it on and seemed to have these, big nights for Northern Soul, and that's all they played. You got to remember, there's a lot of disco crap around at the time as well, and the likes of myself and a lot of other people didn't like it. It was just disco rubbish, and so they sort of tried to invent their own clubs with their own music without having to deal with that.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy, and it's. My dad talks about it like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? They don't let it. He won't let it go. He will not let it go. Model T First Assembly Car Line. Exactly. See, Fourth family owns the NFL Detroit Lions, and the Lions have been lousy since I was a kid.
Right.
We've caught up with chat. Can't believe we've actually caught up with chat, Kieran.
Right.
So, Kieran, right? Do you think Leeds United must target automatic promotion next season?
I think that all depends on your. They've got to be targeting it, but they've got to be. It depends who that manager is, isn't it? They've got to appoint a guy that can do the job, and then again, it's like West Ham to have a half a decent season. Your recruitment is crucial. Every club, I always believe this, that your recruitment is everything. Mm-hmm. You have to get it right. You can't be wasting money on players that don't perform. And I don't think Leeds have got it right for the last couple of seasons of recruitment. That's all. I mean, you sold Rafinha and Phillips, and what you've brought in really hasn't cut it. So recruitment is key. And whether it takes one season or two or three, we'll see. That recruitment, it could happen if the right manager comes in and the right players are brought in. Because you're shopping in a different market now, aren't you, to get out of the Championship? Yeah. You're not looking at, top Premier League players. What I do believe is you need some experience in there, And you need some experienced players in there. It ain't just about flair, and it's not about, the best goal scorers in the world, but good experienced players. And I think if they get that recruitment right, they've got every chance. Why not?
This time last season, I remember us all saying it's time to move Cooper on early on. But now what we're back in Championship, I think we need to keep them in and around club for their experience. It's weird how a season can just change everything.
Yeah. See, Ayling, Ayling maybe not a Premier League player. See, for one, but in a Championship, he could be, a good player to have, Yeah. Who's the big boy at the back, the captain? Or
Cooper.
Huh?
Liam Cooper.
Cooper. Again, he's got all the experience in the world. He might be crucial to it, and it's just picking up the odd player. Now, you definitely need a striker. But you want a battling up striker up there to score your goals. You need that. But you've got to stop leaking them as well, haven't you? So, I do believe if you buy the right players, they don't have to be superstars. They just got to be the right players.
Well, the manager who seems to be heavily linked is that Daniel Farger, who were Norwich manager, got Norwich promoted twice from Championship as champions.
Well, he was looking really good for a while there, wasn't he? Even in the Premier League. And then he just fell off a cliff. But like I said, if he's got that experience in the Championship, that could bode well, Doesn't mean you have to have him there for the next 10 years if you do get promoted. But to get you out of there, you need a good experienced manager. I'm hoping you don't settle for Allardyce. But there's not to say that he's got all the experience in the world too. Maybe he could get you out of there. Yeah, he's done it before.
Well, we've let him go now. We've officially let him go now.
Let him go.
Mm.
I think that might be wise. But There you go.
Wallace says, I wish I had my dance and my disco platform shoes from the 70s. And the man says, still having comps in Blackpool for Northern Soul dancing. I went to Wigan Casino on the pier a few times. Also, Clearthorpe's good nights. So Amanda gets everywhere, doesn't she? Being in a Model T at a museum, you can take photos in the factory at Ford, except the assembly line. It's a shame. I see us 13th unless something drastically happens, sadly. Well, this is it. I mean, we don't know what's going on properly, do we, Amani? Because the 49ers aren't telling anything.
Something drastic has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It has to happen. You know, if you want to contend for that championship next year, it has to happen. You've got Southampton and Leicester to compete with as well. You know, now you'd look at Leicester and go, mate, they could be decimated if they lose players that you think they're going to lose. Could be absolutely decimated. They could be struggling themselves. Like I said, the drastic part of it is the recruitment. You have to get it right. So it has to happen. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting around the middle of the table in a championship for years.
And
so it has to happen.
And it's easy to say we need to get rid of all these players who are no good. But you've got to find buyers for these players who are no good. They're still on a contract. Yeah. And it's not that easy just to get rid of them all. You know what I mean? You're still going to... It takes time. And, you know, I think the championship window's open now, I believe. So the businesses have been done. It's just that we can't do anything until that fit to own paperwork comes through. A manager comes in. We have got a interim head of football. His name's Holland, and he was at Celtic, and he's an interim. But he's been brought in just to oversee the summer transfer window until we can find someone more permanent as a sporting director.
Right. See, that's the trouble. Yeah, because the manager, you need that manager to know what direction to go as well, don't you? You can have a sporting director, but you want to, really, to me, if you've got a sporting director who's going to look at recruitment and that, he needs to know what manager he's got and what he needs.
Yeah.
What type of player he needs, and to me, it's crucial to get that manager signed and sorted. And I'm sure they're trying to find someone. What's the news on that, Stu? That approached anyone yet? No.
Well, Leeds, they've approached manager shortlist, but the managers. It's going to be they're holding interviews next week, apparently.
Okay. All right.
And then they're going to announce somebody after that. So they've made a shortlist of who they want to interview. So they're making moves. It's taking a bloody long time. We've just got to be patient, haven't we? I guess may have to meet up Wally for a beer because I want to come to Philly and pay my respect to Tammy Terrell and the Philly Sound. I never wanted Coops to leave. He's still our best centre back. Fact. You've always said that, Amani, to be fair to you. Norwich and Bristol City are recruiting players already. Norwich have just recruited Ashley Barnes from Burnley.
Really?
Malcolm, sounds like you're a real music Africano. I've heard that there's supposed to be a decent group here in Philly, Boys to Men or something. I've heard of Boys to Men. I've heard of them. Allardyce is gone, thank God. Just hope they don't get those ex-Norwich idiots. Going through 4 managers in a season is not good for the players. It's a good point, Malcolm. Southampton have put 50 million price tag on Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, good luck with that. I wouldn't pay it.
Market, haven't they? That's what they've done.
I wouldn't pay it myself, that kind of money for him.
No. Well, we do know he's going to score free kicks in Championship. You know what I mean? And them free kicks he scores, if he chips in with 10 goals, it could be crucial to Southampton come end of their season. Adam, I hope you're doing well. Adam. I love most black music. Wally. Levi Stubbs is my greatest ever singer. Of the four tops, I've got a big collection as it's Tammy Silly Me, and it's Tammy Silly Me. I told my dad today Nonto is been is been bought by AC Milan for a short deal of 5 million. But no, Willie Nonto is way more expensive than that 50 million for me. He can go for not cheapskate Milan. I got loads. I had them. Malcolm, make sure you visit New Orleans. Great job and gospel. Zendeco also. Yeah, I think you're right, though, Kieran. I think it's especially to clubs like Leeds and West Ham as well. You're not going to be able to compete with Man City for players. You're not. But if you're smart, there is some really good gems out there who are waiting to be found.
Yeah, I think so. Right, isn't there? If these rumours about this sporting director, whatever name you want to put him, we're bringing this guy in from Germany. I mean, who's to say he hasn't got a list of German players that we know nothing about that could do a job? You know,
yeah.
And I think that's what you need. You need your finger on the pulse of Europe. You know, of the German league or the French league. You know, having that, because I always thought the German league they're very similar to British football. You know, maybe not as quick, but battling hard, tackling and whatever. So there could be, you know, some talent there in Germany to pick. So if you've got a guy there that's got his finger on the pulse there, you know, maybe you might just bring them couple of players in that no one knows about, and yeah, they could do a great job for you. So hopefully that's the route we're going.
I hope so. I hope so for West Ham fans. I really do. I think Willie Nonto is way more money than 5 million. I would sell him for 50 million on the dot if they want him. I mean, I've heard it could even be a possible loan to a loan as well, Adam. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to loan out players like Tyler Adams and Willie Nonto just to take them off at wage bill, bring them back, hopefully gambling that we get promoted and bring them back then. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, Robbie Koch didn't do a good job, and he is German. But to be fair, Adam, Robbie Koch in the Leeds, he was tipped to be next stop property on the German line. It just didn't work out for him at Leeds. That's all. Been to a number of states. New Orleans is on my list. I was I love Wyoming and Montana. Love Native American people. Brighton has signed Joe Pedro from Watford. I think he will pair up the Premier League next season. Could be another player to keep an eye out on. Amani, definitely. Could be another player. But look, hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more transfer news and stuff, and you know we should Leeds on what manager we've got. West Ham should know what Sporting Direct, you know what players they think they're targeting, and I think we'll know a little bit more than what we know now. And Adam says I don't want Robbie Koch or Fairport at Leeds or Bamford or Rodrigo or Tyler Roberts. I thought Rodrigo did well for Leeds, Adam, to be fair. He was a top goal scorer. I can understand where you Tyler Adams, Bamford, and Burpo and Koch, but, you know, I think Rodrigo played well for Leeds. He was only one who was trying. We need to keep Willie at the club. We need him, I know, Malcolm. Cheap second in the FPL. Right, well, look, guys, we're going to start wrapping up. I'm sure Kieran's got things to do tonight, this morning. Have you got what you want to finish on before we wrap up, Kieran?
No, mate. No, we had a good end of the season. You didn't. It's unlucky for you, but yeah. But luckily, we stuck a trophy on the board, and West Ham are still celebrating. And I'm hoping all the boys have a good rest and we come back with a few extra players. The Rice saga will go from day to day, won't it? About who's going and what the bids are and who's interested. I'm hoping it isn't just Arsenal, because probably that's why that low ball bid they put in yesterday, apparently. You know, they're just putting their toe in the water, aren't they, Arsenal, see what they can get. If someone else came in, that could make a difference. But regardless of that, I do believe we'll go whatever happens. So, and whether we get 90 million or 100 million, it doesn't really matter to us. I'd rather keep him, but we're not going to be able to. So we need to spend that money wisely. I hope you're listening, David Moyes. Spend that money wisely, because we can't afford to be wasting that. Otherwise, we'll be back where we were last season, battling away.
Yeah, I can just see David Moyes sat at home listening to Disabled Team channel on YouTube, Kieran.
Yeah,
we might have to send him it direct. He doesn't have Twitter or does he? But we'll have to find a way of getting a video sent to him. She's a good player, but like most, destroyed last season due to stupid management. Tyler Roberts. Can you get good players as striker in the Championship? I think you can get a good strike players in Championship. Yeah, definitely, Adam. Bandy says, well done, boys. Right, well, look, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone in chat, for joining us. Great to see some new faces, old faces, regulars, irregulars, me and Kieran. Lee, the main man, good to see you on channel as well, mate. Thank you, everyone, for watching this edition of Disabled Team. Hang on a minute. Something for you. Did you, we won one at the start of the season. Think it was
I know.
The Lucky Bag Cup, something like that.
Mel, I've got to give it large, because we've actually won something. You know what I mean? It's 43 years since I've been able to give it large. So yeah, I've got to. Yeah, Bongy, Jamesy. Yeah, Jamesy, we won the first State of Origin. Mate, we got that one under the belt. I don't actually. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's this week or next week for the next one. It must be next week. But yeah, Queensland are 1-0 up. Stu, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, they're 1-0 up in rugby league in the State of Origin.
Right, brilliant. Has it been feisty?
It was a little bit feisty. Not like the old days, but yeah, it was a bit feisty. They played it down in Adelaide, which is unusual. They like to share this State of Origin around the country. It's normally either in New South Wales or Queensland. But the next game's at Suncorp, where I went to watch Leeds play Villa. Yep. And it's a good stadium for atmosphere and all that. So yes, so it should be a good game.
Good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Much love to each and every one of you. And thank you, Kieran, for coming on, mate. Much appreciated.
No drama, boys.
Yeah, well, take care, everybody. And there's only one thing left to say. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye to me. See you later.
Take care, everybody. Have it. Here we go. Yeah, have it. Did you say that we would win 2-1, Kieran?
Yeah. I think I'll pick that score too.
Yeah. So that's right. Good night, everybody. Take care.